but my kind of last big point that I had is that he, like I said earlier, he survived so many incidents, like gunshots, getting run over, being blown up. And one thing that I have specifically is that he went 110 rounds in a boxing match with a large hulking opponent stronger than him and didn't show any signs of fatigue or damage near the end. So
how many rounds?
110. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bleat This, your favorite podcast, I hope. We're back here. I am your co-host, Luke Guilday.
And I'm your other co-host, Hickey.
And we're back with the podcast you know and love, where each episode we just talk about just a different debate topic. We did hot dog as a sandwich and would you put pineapple on pizza? We're going to move away from that, step away from food, and talk about something a little bit different. Now, I want to add context. I want to add scenery. It is the end of the world. It is the apocalypse is happening. Zombies everywhere. They're going to eat your brains, or maybe they won't. But thankfully, you have one thing to help you in this impending doom. A friend, so to speak, a cartoonish animated friend. Our question for today is, which cartoon character would you bring with you to help survive in the zombie apocalypse? Now, Ty and I, before this, have talked to each other about who we picked, but we have not said why to each other. But for you guys, I have picked Bugs Bunny.
I'm quite excited for his argument because he kept going, "Oh, I can't tell you that," and then walking away from me. So I picked Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
And at the end of this episode, let us know who you agree with more and who you would bring to the zombie apocalypse. Maybe it's Aang or Bugs Bunny. We'll find out. Ty, would you like to start things off?
So Aang is, of course, the Avatar, and he can bend all four elements, and he ended the 100 Years' War, and he's just an incredible airbender. He can fly.
Okay.
And so I think his skills would just be really good.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also, a monk, and they're very disciplined and good at being peaceful, so he could definitely, make friendly with any other people surviving in this zombie apocalypse.
Sure. But if you think about it like this, right? You're working together. How would that go? Do you think, sure, maybe on his own he could absolutely do it, but do you think he could help you that much, or how do you think you could do it?
I think we could definitely benefit from each other because, as mentioned, he's a monk and a pacifist, and I'm not a pacifist.
Okay.
So where he is a pacifist, then I would, step in with a baseball bat, ideally.
And if he knows the earth, what is it? Earth, wind,
air, water, earth, and fire, and that's the order.
So you did say earth twice.
No, because I stumbled.
Oh,
It is air, water, earth, and fire.
And then the fifth one, rugby. So if you collect all those together.
No, violence.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess in a zombie apocalypse you might need that.
Yeah, and then, with rugby, I know so many rugby players across the country that I think we
that
can
you
make
would
allies.
help, that you would have with you during the zombie apocalypse.
No, but if I were to run into them, I'd just be like, "Oh my gosh, hey Roz, we played together," and allies.
You just it's that small of a world.
It's that small of a world.
In the zombie apocalypse.
Well, yeah, if you run into somebody you recognize, and rugby players are already very, we've played rugby or met once, you're my best friend.
Okay.
Your family, I'll die for you. Then
okay.
It would definitely be a benefit.
I see.
And also, rugby players are pretty strong. That's a good group of people to have easy allyships with.
Sure. I think one of my big questions, and it's not necessarily for you, but just in general, of how do you think we would have gotten in a zombie apocalypse situation? How do you think that would have came to be, I guess?
So I have three, I think, pretty realistic theories on how a zombie apocalypse would happen.
Okay.
I've thought a lot about this.
Okay.
One, very not dangerous in the traditional sense, is that the chronic wasting disorder found in deer jumps over to humans. And the prions disease wreaks havoc and creates these zombie-like people who are, suffering from prions disease.
I did not.
On a high
wait,
scale.
with deer, you said?
Yes, there's chronic wasting disease in deer.
I did not know.
It's a
my
prion
God.
disease, and it can take
okay.
up to 10 years to kill you. And those people that are like, oh my gosh, that's not a real deer. Look how it's acting. That's the deer with chronic wasting disorder because its brain is scrambled from the prion disease.
Oh, huh.
And the reason that you can't eat deer that show signs of chronic wasting disease is in case the infected prions infect your prions in your brain, and then you're dead in 10 years' time.
So realistically, then what you'd be saying is that in that instance, you and Aang would just need to survive 10 years, and then you're fine.
Well, it's
and
10
you're
years
just
for
done. You could go on the rest of your day.
10 years for the first people infected to die out, but that zombie apocalypse would turn people into zombies, and they would just waste away and die.
Or it would
Not
turn
very
people
violent.
into deer. We don't know. It could turn people into deer.
We don't know. Prions diseases are fairly easy to control, though. Just don't eat the infected meat. Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease is like the human version of that, and that tends to happen because of cannibalism. Fun fact. And then the second idea is rabies gets significantly worse and develops worse in some way, that we have a zombie apocalypse that is originated from rabies, where people just become so much more violent when they get infected with rabies.
I don't like that. That's scary.
That's a scary one.
That is scary.
And then the third one. Have you ever watched or heard of the game The Last of Us?
Yeah.
That one.
Oh.
That fungus adapting to infect humans' brains rather than ants and other invertebrates and insects.
I see. So, okay. Well,
I think those are the three realistic ones.
the realistic ones. And of course, in all of those situations, you'd have Aang in the most realistic situations possible.
I'd have Aang, the last Airbender from the hit show Avatar: The Last Airbender.
What's the name of it? Because I haven't watched the show in a while. I have watched it. It has been over a decade, probably.
When you were 10?
Yeah. What was the big animal? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Appa?
Yeah, Appa.
The sky bison.
Yeah, do you think you'd be able to have a sky bison as well?
I think Appa and Aang are they come together,
Okay.
I think Momo would also be there with us.
I don't know who that is.
He's the lemur monkey.
Oh, yeah.
That flies.
Okay.
I think his pets, his best friends come with him. I don't think the other humans from the series would come with him, because he had to make those friends first. At the start of the well, he didn't have Momo at the start of the show, but basically at the start of the show, Momo was his friend.
All right. You know what? You make a fair point, but riddle me this, right? Imagine, right, zombie swarm. You're not prepared. You don't know what to do, right? Then out of the blue, you see emerge from the ground Bugs Bunny. And he is ready. He's got so much you don't even know. One thing that I when I was doing research for this, there was a website that talked about all in great detail as well, all of the powers that he had, and I kind of want to give a little quick summary about it. For starters, Toon Force. Yeah.
Elaborate.
To quote from it, the ability to alter or even completely disregard logistics and physics for the sake of comedy. So if it's funny, he can he can defy physics, can defy gravity.
Oh my gosh, just like Looney Tunes.
Just like Looney Tunes, right? So what is stopping him from just he'd probably do the cartoonish thing of he'd grab I feel like he'd grab an air pump or something, but it'd be reversed, and then he turns into a balloon, and then he helps me get out of that situation, and then we float onto the roof of a safe building where no zombies can reach. Alternative.
I was thinking if there's a big zombie horde, Bugs Bunny is a big fan of he goes through a door, and then the pursuer goes through the door behind him, and then he's like, "Why are you barging into my house like that. You need to follow the social conventions of this situation, and you're being so rude right now. Suddenly the zombies would be smart enough to follow the social conventions.
Yeah, they'd realize that they're in the wrong for that, and they need to, because, I mean, they're trespassing. That's not okay. They can't do that.
And they gotta take their shoes off.
Or alternatively, right? Now, here's my thing, is that as much as I am dumb, I'm not cartoonish. So
You're cartoonish.
So,
sometimes.
okay. Well, this is saying in this instance, right? Say, for example, we found like just a wall, and he paints a door on it. He can run through the door. I cannot. But unless you're saying in this instance that I also could, because if that's the case, then we both run through the door, and then the zombies can't go through the door.
I think you're gonna splat like Wile E. Coyote.
No, I wouldn't do that. If anything, I would run like Roadrunner. So, I'm fast. I would get out of there immediately. So that's a bit of Toon Force. He can also breathe and talk underwater and in space. So
he's really good at basketball, right?
He is very good at basketball as well, which might stun the zombies potentially. Like, they might be shocked and they might be in awe. What?
Break their ankles,
Not even that. I think they just want to watch him play basketball with Michael Jordan. I think that's really what they want at the end of the day. So, potentially that. And shockingly as well, he is 50 years old. I guess.
That tracks.
Yeah, I guess. Because I didn't write it on here, but the website literally said, wow, look how young and vibrant he is. He laughs so much, and that's the source of, like, him being young is that he laughs so much. I want to make it very clear. I did research an hour before the recording of this podcast, in a haste,
during your Italian class.
During yes.
Shout out Matello.
During my Italian class, he's not gonna watch this.
I'm gonna send it to him.
I swear to God, if you do not. Listen, I was paying attention in the class, but I had to do research. This is scientific inquiry I had to do for another class.
Speaking of scientific inquiry, I did not pull the rugby team. I forgot.
No, that's okay. If you had to guess, what do you think they would say? Do you think you would ask them, like, is it between Aang and Bugs Bunny, or is it, like, their choice?
I should have sent a survey out to them this week instead, because I was thinking, too, it was like, they might come up with an other. So maybe this would have been a survey rather than a poll, I think.
Okay.
Who would you take and why? Follow-up question. Explain in detail. Minimum 50 words.
Minimum 50. Please give us an explanation.
Please give us an explanation, and then I won't say your name.
There you go. Now, the next power. Ear dexterity. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why? Riddle me this, though.
Not what I was thinking.
And then what were you thinking?
What?
Close enough. All right. Riddle me this. And then, right, he rotates his ears, and he flies away. Because that is a thing he did. He rotates his ears, and he turned into an airplane, and he flew away. He would just get out of there.
Keep him away from the building.
There's no point in trying to solve the issue when you could just escape from it. So that's what he's doing.
That's something that Bugs Bunny and Aang have in common, though. Because he can fly himself, and then we also have Appa. We've decided.
At the same time, though, right? It's like they can fly away. We can't. So
I can get on Appa.
Oh, I guess that's true.
Loser.
Well, I can I don't know. I can hold on to like his feet or something. He literally defies all like logistical and like physics, like all of it.
Has to be funny though. If it's not a physical gag, it won't happen.
Okay, maybe I can pull out a classic dumb joke of mine, and then maybe he'll laugh, which will in return make him still young and youthful and spry, and then he'll spin his ears and fly away. and truly, I think that'll help us get away. Alternatively, he knows hypnotism, and also, in fact, he isn't immune to it. But I forget the name of the alien in Looney Tunes, but the alien tried hypnotizing him. And then he
Martian?
Marvin, yeah.
Marvin the Martian.
Yeah. And he tried hypnotizing Bugs, but Bugs hypnotized him even better, even stronger.
I have a counterpoint for this.
Yeah, go on.
The zombies are zombies.
Yeah.
Can you even hypnotize something that's zombified like that? It depends on, I guess, which variation of zombie we're going with. The classic supernatural zombie, I think you can't hypnotize.
Okay, sure.
I don't think the Last of Us one you could hypnotize either, because mushrooms don't have brains. The chronic wasting.
Was the fungus taking their brain?
The fungus hijacks the nervous system and takes control.
Oh.
So the fungus is in control, and then the infected person is just like a puppet.
I don't know. At that point, then, would that just be another form of puppeteering?
Maybe. And Bugs Bunny could probably do that. And then the deer disease.
Okay, that could work.
That could work because it takes like 10 years and it's not very violent descent.
Yeah.
And then the rabies one. Yeah, I'd say you could hypnotize somebody with rabies. You just have to get them to not attack you for long enough.
I suppose, yeah. But he has that just in case, right? And then we move on. We move on to fourth wall awareness. Now, does this matter in this situation? Not even in the slightest. But it's the fact that he is aware of his own existence. And as a result, he also is aware of his own immortality, because he's gone through so many instances of of either being blown up or being run over as flat as a pancake, and he still gets back up.
He survives every Wabbit season.
Exactly, he survived and hopefully this zombie apocalypse wouldn't be during Wabbit season, because that would. Then we might have an issue.
During
but if it's
duck season.
But if it's during duck season, we are in the clear.
Counterpoint.
Yeah.
We are the audience, and we are the fourth wall to Bugs Bunny's universe.
Uh-huh.
If he joins our universe, who's our fourth wall? Is there another? Are we a television show?
It's not so much. It's not so much the fact that he would need. Yeah, because there's no audience inherently in this, so it's not so much the fact that he would need to, know that there's an audience. It's the fact, though, that, he knows that, that he is a cartoon. And at the same time, I would imagine that he knows his immortality as being a cartoon, unlike me, sadly, I'm not a cartoon, but I do act silly. So
yeah, you're the closest of my friends to a real-life cartoon character. How's learning to read going, by the way?
How's learning to read? It's not going. I don't think I've read a book in 3 years, and I've had classes.
I know when you said that you were illiterate, and then I made my really funny joke and you didn't respond, then I knew you were really illiterate.
I'm not actually illiterate, but...
You didn't laugh at my joke.
I'm sorry. How about you say it again?
Well, you have to say I can't read. I'm illiterate.
I can't read. I'm illiterate.
Clip that.
Uh-huh.
Illiterate. I thought your parents were married.
I see where you're confused. That's not the right word.
How would you know you're illiterate?
That's not how that works. That's not how that works. You didn't... No. No. The rules of improv are yes and, but I hate improv.
No, do you get the joke, though? Illiterate, illegitimate?
Yes, I get it.
I got that one from Romeo and Juliet, the best movie ever.
What?
Romeo and Juliet.
No, I know.
At one point, the blue gnome lady goes something illiterate, And the other guy goes, I'm not illiterate. My parents were married.
Ah, I see. And you're telling me you decided to not bring Romeo or Juliet as your cartoon character? You don't know. You don't know what they could do to help.
They could, well, one, they're little.
All right.
They're like a foot tall.
Okay.
Who, Juliet in the movie is in fact English.
Mm-hmm.
So, useless.
Jesus Christ. Go on.
That's said in a joking manner. And then Romeo, he has an English accent in the movie, but he is played by famous Scottish actor James McAvoy.
Uh-huh.
And I've got a soft spot for James McAvoy, as he is one of 3 Scottish people Americans know.
There you go.
So.
But back to bugs. So the other
There's bugs in here?
No, the bunny. The bunny. I could see you could be confused though. Listen. I'm illiterate. I get it. But my kind of last big point that I had is that he, like I said earlier, he survived so many incidents, like gunshots, getting run over, being blown up. And one thing that I have specifically is that he went 110 rounds in a boxing match with a large hulking opponent stronger than him and didn't show any signs of fatigue or damage near the end. So
how many rounds?
110.
Did we see all 110 rounds?
That's an important question.
Because if we didn't see 110 rounds, then by cartoon logic, we only see like 30 seconds of this match.
I'm just looking over it.
This one's a hit.
Well, here's my question. How long is one round of boxing? That's like what, 5 minutes, I think?
I watched
2 to 5?
2 to 5.
So imagine if we're talking a full round, right? We're talking at least 220 minutes.
Is this men's boxing?
Sure, I
guess.
What
gender is Bugs Bunny? He's a man. I would 3 minutes.
I would say let's assume it's 5. Let's give it the full 5 of that being the maximum time for one round, right? 5 minutes. So if you were to do that times 110, that is 550 minutes.
Here we go. I'm arguing. One, the professional boxing Wikipedia says that a maximum of 5 minutes or maximum of 3 minutes. You missed me.
Maximum of 3.
Maximum of 3 minutes.
Okay.
And so 3 minutes per round, saying that there was no KOs or knockouts and it went to the max every time, is 330 minutes. Which is 5.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
However, professional boxing limits professional bouts to a maximum of 12 rounds. So this must have been a surely corrupt boxing institution to seriously exceed those 12 rounds. What is this? I'm not making that joke. Never mind.
Well, here's my thing, right? Is that, like, sure, maybe only 12 rounds was the maximum, right? You know what? That's fair. Except, no, it's not, because this was in a cartoon world. We don't know what's going on in the cartoon world. Maybe the maximum rounds is 110. So that means, right, you would have a full 330 minutes. So that, I believe, is like 7. Yeah, it's a little over 7 hours of... And that's implying as well that he's lost at least 109 rounds.
So he can lose to this bug hulking guy. How is he supposed to win against the zombies?
Because he doesn't die. He only gets stronger.
Fair
right?
enough.
And I would imagine at the same time he would have some sort of cartoon weapon of some sort, whether it be, I don't know, like a ranged weapon or not. But let's just say, for example, he just has a gun, right? In this
Did he take it from Elmer Fudd?
Probably to avoid rabbit season. So imagine imagine it's Elmer Fudd's double barrel shotgun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I'd like to think is that, again, in this cartoon world, your imagination is the limit. So he shoots it, and the bullets are like the bullets are sentient. They know to just keep getting all the zombies. So it's going to be one of those things where it just zips around and just kills all the zombies, and then it just stays in the air for maybe a second, and then it falls on the ground, is what I'd imagine. See, that's the thing, is I think what I have on my side is just imagination, because truly anything can happen. Little side argument on this one. I think you know the debate of all the Pokemon versus a million lions, right?
Yes.
Now, hear me out. All the Pokemon or Big Chungus really is what we're dealing with. It would be so easy for Bugs to win that. It would be so unbelievably easy for him to win that. He cannot die. His only weakness is losing a game of basketball. Do Pokemon know how to play basketball? No, of course not.
Dare I say some of them look very human.
Okay.
Well, what does Torchic evolve into?
A bigger chicken. I don't know. A bigger chicken, to be honest. I don't really know.
Hold on a second. I'll get back to that.
But, I mean, the same would apply for zombies, though. It's like zombies don't know how to play basketball, as far as scientific research has shown us. So, but the only time, and spoilers, sorry to the fans.
Tell me this thing doesn't know how to play basketball, I dare you.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know. I don't know if a Blaziken can hold a... I don't think a Blaziken knows what basketball is. We don't know. I don't think it knows what sports are.
Basketball is really popular in Japan, I think.
That doesn't mean an animal knows how to play it. If I go to the Philadelphia Zoo and I throw a basketball at like a giraffe, it's not going to know how to play basketball.
Yeah, but
if I were to do it in a cartoon zoo, they would all know how to play basketball.
This is a cartoon. Pokemon's a cartoon, and this guy is 6'3". The Lakers need a center or whatever.
But the thing with that is like and I feel like the same applies for like with Avatar as well. Is like there were limits. There were limits to what the world setting and like what the character's abilities were. Bugs could just do whatever, and it was always funny. So I guess I have two things that maybe could be a sign of weakness. The Bugs is kryptonite. Is that it needs to be funny. So somehow there needs to be comedic value.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Let's assume in this instance we know that the zombie apocalypse is going to happen. Set time, set date. We know. Say that again.
World goes to crap. We know.
We just know. So with that in mind, ahead of time, we can prepare a little bit more. What's one thing I'm gonna need? Supplies from Party City is what we were all thinking, and here's why. So there needs to be comedy, right? And what better place than Party City to have just props, to just have cheap props, rather, to just have little things that might at least provide some comedic value in order for Bugs to be able to use any power he wants. Any power. So I would just need to go ahead and I would need to buy like maybe 30 whoopee cushions and like some confetti. Like, I think that's all I would need.
Doesn't Bugs Bunny just pull stuff out of his non-existent pockets?
That is true. That is very true, actually.
So you would have to catch up to Bugs Bunny's level of comedy.
But that's the thing, though. Well,
get really good at your art classes, man, because you're about to be drawing doors on walls, and it's gonna work.
No, but here's the thing. Yeah, I need to draw hyper-realistic doors on pieces of paper, and then just dive headfirst onto my piece of paper. Well, okay. I don't think it's okay. Honestly, if anything, I don't think it's necessarily that I would need to meet his comedic value, because like that's like asking a a leaf to go up against Rocky in a fighting match. Like, I can't do that. I can admit that I cannot beat his level of comedy. However, I think it would be a matter of me needing to contribute, at least to the very least, because I think in my instance and then in your instance, like, our cartoon characters doing about 99.9% of the work. We're just kind of there hoping we don't die. Like, we kind of just have to follow it.
I'm his friend. Katara's not there, Sokka's not there, Toph's not there. All he has is me.
That's okay.
I'm his friend, and he needs one after the drama in his life.
That's fair. My only thing next, though, is, like, because, sure, maybe you avoid a swarm once, or you're able to avoid the zombies. Another part of the apocalypse, though, is just generally trying to survive. Like, you need a shelter. You need food and stuff like that. And let me tell you, Bugs has already got a plan. He already lives in the ground. It would take him 5 seconds to dig up a two-bedroom apartment in the ground, 2 bathrooms. I don't even have to pay utilities. So, like, that would be really nice, right? And at the same time, he has unlimited carrots. My eyesight, I would never have to worry about going blind ever, because I'd be eating only carrots, but he always has a carrot on him. So I would have food and I would have shelter at the very least.
Okay, so you wouldn't die of starvation, but you would die of malnutrition.
Sure.
Now, if he had infinite potatoes, that would be better, because potatoes contain almost every single vitamin that a person needs to survive.
I mean, in this instance, there's nothing stopping me from, like, still trying to find other food for myself, but at the very least, I won't die of hunger, because I will have carrots. Yeah. That's the only thing. Now, I don't know how do you think you would go in that instance, though, with Aang?
So Aang is a vegetarian. My family is a hunting family, and we've had gardens, and we've grown our own food very often. So I have experience growing fruits and vegetables, and I know Aang's a vegetarian, a vegan, so he wouldn't, but I would go and I would hunt animals for food. I have done that for a lot of my life, and I know how to gut them and all that, so food covered. And then shelter, he's an earthbender, he can make us a house.
just out of the dirt.
Just out of the dirt.
Yeah,
but he can make the dirt into the shape of a house, and then we don't even have to, like, have a door where they can get in. Like, your hole in the ground would have a door, or it would just be an open hole, and they could just crawl down there with you.
I mean, well, I feel like he would dig far enough to where it would be pretty hard for them to, like, dig, like, and find our home and stuff like that. At the same time, he could just keep digging holes, I would say.
You're gonna live on the run.
Yeah, from the zombies, yeah. I mean, the only thing that maybe I would have to worry about is suffocating, because I would be in the ground. Calling all Westchester University Philadelphia Phillies fans. Join the Westchester University community on Thursday, May 29th at 6:45 for some fun at the ballpark. The Phillies will be taking on the Atlanta Braves at Citizens Bank Park in the Philly Sports Complex. Tickets are sold on a first-come, first-served basis for $27 each. There are a total of 500 tickets available in the sections 427 and 428, so act fast to get your tickets before they're sold out. Transportation is not provided, and parking fees are not included with the ticket purchases. All sales will close on April 14th, or if tickets sell out. We hope to see everyone there.
Do you know what I think is another drawback of Bugs Bunny?
What's that?
Lola Bunny.
Elaborate.
One of my favorite Looney Tunes adaptations, it was called Looney Tunes, and it was the recent one, and Lola Bunny was just very ditzy in it. And she was my favorite character.
Okay.
There was one scene where she's like, "Hey Bugs," or Bugs calls her, and she goes, "Hi Bugs," and he goes, "How'd you know it was me?" She goes, "I just answer my phone like that every single time," which which is funny. And then they're like talking, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, that's crazy! Oh my God, there's this guy on the side of the road that looks just like you." What? Really? Yeah, I'm about to hit him, and then she hits Bugs with a car.
Okay, well,
So I think he can't escape her.
See, comedic value. Okay,
he
but
can't escape her. Therefore, you would also keep your head on a swivel for Lola Bunny causing problems.
Are we saying in that instance then that also Lola Bunny would also be there? But then at that point then...
Part of Bugs Bunny's shtick in that show is that he can't get rid of her.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like, eventually they are a happy couple, but for a good chunk of it, he's just like, I can't get rid of this woman.
That might be a bit of a predicament, but listen.
Don't worry, you'll be fine when she hits you with a car.
I rethought of something, because I completely forgot about that. In the famous film Space Jam, what is one thing that they give the protagonist to help him in the game?
Michael Jordan.
So, no. Well, so Michael Jordan does drink it. What do they give him? The secret stuff. They give him the secret stuff, and that gives him the power to finish the basketball game. Now, what is the secret stuff, you might be asking? Red Gatorade. That was it. That was the entire drink, was red Gatorade. If Bugs handed me a vial or a bottle, and it just said, and just bam, the secret stuff label right there in a nice gold font. If it was right there and he said, like, if I needed a remedy for something, like if I wasn't feeling great, or maybe it is to help with nutrition and stuff like that, bam, I would have that, and then psychologically, it would help me a little bit, even if it wasn't actually physically changing anything. It would still psychologically be helping me.
I have 2 points.
Go on.
Where's the comedy that would make it possible? Because there has to be a joke in there.
Not necessarily.
There always has to be a joke for Bugs Bunny to warp reality. Second point, are you going to ask him if it contains too much caffeine in it for your heart, just to make sure it won't just...
Red Gatorade does not have that much caffeine in it.
Well, if he's doing
it doesn't
stuff
have
to it.
Does Gatorade?
No.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have
Well, you were
caffeine
saying,
in
like,
it.
this, you could just slap secret, whatever, and give it to you.
No, but in every instance, it would just be red Gatorade. That's what the secret stuff was. So it would just be red Gatorade. I wouldn't have to worry about electrolytes a day in my life because I would be drinking straight red. That's all I'd be having.
I love that Red 40 food
I would
guy.
just be having red Gatorade. That's all I need. My only thing, though, going back to kind of your point about Lola, my only thing, though, is like, is she physically there as well? Is she physically in Westchester? Or, like, is it just, like, on the phone that the two of them are talking, and it's just causing him more angst in an already stressful environment, that being the zombie apocalypse?
She could be over the phone, but she could also be in person. She tends to appear out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. In the recent, like, adaptations of it. Of course, like, previously is a little different.
Sure.
Where are the appearances? She first appeared in Space Jam, and then the Looney Tunes show. And in the Looney Tunes show, I think is her best appearance.
Okay.
She's way more scatterbrained than that, which leads to the funny, oh, there's this guy that looks like you. Really? Yeah, I'm about to hit him. And then that's actually Bugs.
Uh-huh.
Or she got pulled over by the cops, and she's just going through her purse, and she's like, oh, this thing. Oh, what did you ask for again?
So then my
Driver's
question...
license. Oh, you don't have... I don't have one of those.
So then my thing is, though, like, that would then imply that if for every time she's there, she also is surviving the zombies. So, like,
Nothing can kill her.
Well, then I'm going to ask her then. I'm going to be like, how do you survive? How do you do it? Hey, how do you do it? Like, that's kind of just, I would just have to ask her then at that point. Because like, or oh no, what did you just figure out? I'm so
Continue. I have to research this.
okay. So my thing though is like, if okay, well that one you're saying though that like if she accidentally is running him over with her car, she has a car. We have transportation. I would imagine that there's also gas. I hope.
Gas will expire after a certain amount of years.
So well, okay. How about give or take 10 years? Honestly, no, because I feel like, I don't know, if we are saying it in a situation, right, where that's another thing, like, is it just for the rest of time until the last zombie is gone? Or is it like is there a cure, I guess, is the thing? Because I know in some instances, like, there is something.
Okay.
Like, is there a cure we can find, you know?
So the funny thing that I found is there's actually a Lunatics Unleashed, which is a Warner Brothers animation that is the Looney Tunes cartoon characters in a zombie apocalypse. Essentially, it's kind of like their descendants in a post-apocalyptic world, which is why I had such a big reaction, because I was like, that's exactly what we're talking about. But I know nothing about this show.
Did not. Well, that might even mean worse for me then.
Well, I was 2 years old. But with a cure, prion diseases have no cure that is known besides dying and not getting it in the first place. Rabies, once you start showing symptoms, that's it. There's only been like 2 people who have survived without any medical exemption, and they have come out the other end severely damaged physically. Excuse me. And then the fungus apocalypse, to this day, there has not been a fungal vaccine created.
Okay.
So post-apocalyptically, I don't think it would be possible. When pre-apocalyptic, we still don't have vaccine.
Okay. So ultimately then it's either kill all the zombies or literally just survive in a zombie world for the rest of time.
You haven't seen The Last of Us Part 2, but essentially like people rebuild and they just have communities where they just monitor the zombies and the danger, and they
just starting from the ground
just
up
like,
again,
this
relatively.
Is our town. We're, self-sufficient, and that'll happen.
Well, maybe, hopefully, maybe we somehow stumble upon other cartoon characters through just this world building, so to speak. Oh.
I'm clumsy. Leave me alone. I think you could make a whole compilation of me whacking the mic.
But honestly, I think you know what you need to stop doing that. You need to stop doing that.
Every episode, I look at you and you decide you have a problem with it.
It's because I notice more so when I know instinctually in your head you're like, I'm doing it for the bit, versus when you're just doing it normally.
You didn't notice the other 2 times.
No, I did. I edited it. I know when you did.
No, I meant today.
Oh, today. Oh, yeah. Well, that's fair. But I think you know what? I think with our cartoon characters, we would have a good chance of potentially surviving the apocalypse. But I think that's where we're going to wrap it up for today. Yeah, let us know in the comments who you agree with more. If you agree that, maybe Bugs Bunny being able to break the 4th wall and box somebody 110 times would maybe help. Or having Aang and his lovely water bison along Sky Bison close
that can
enough.
Fly, and his earth bending and water bending and fire bending and all that can help with farming and also just beating the crap out of the zombies.
Fair enough.
He's a pacifist, but they're not alive.
Fair enough. Well, that will be us for today. We'll catch you on the next episode. All right. Have a good one, guys.